BTB listeners, thank you so much for checking out today's episode. Listen, if this episode inspires you, do me a favor, take 5 seconds to shoot me a like and subscribe to the podcast. There are several more exciting guests that are in the pipeline, and I just can't thank you enough for your continued support, and let's keep paying the mission forward. In today's episode, I uncover one of the most common questions I'm asked as a coach. How do you win? How do you accomplish your goals? And winning is something that is above the ordinary. It's a unapologetic state in your life. In this episode, I touch on a book that I came across that has been an instrumental part of my life, which is a book called Winning by Tim Grover. Tim was the former strength coach of basketball players like Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, and Kobe Bryant. His philosophy and approach to how he trained his athletes is something that I deeply resonate with, not only as an athlete myself, but how I've paid forward the mission of the calling behind winning. You'll be inspired by this episode, and let's get into it.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you.
Welcome to the BTB Project, designed to empower listeners to identify their why and to live their best lives no matter the circumstances. My name is Kollman Gerhardt. A former athlete and motivational coach, I've had the opportunity to inspire thousands through my story and help accomplish what they are built to be. You'll be encouraged by each and every episode, and let's get into it.
Yeah, when I blow up, I'ma soar high like Peter Pan. In real life, be living out my dreams. If I'm waking up, it's in a foreign land.
The unapologetic winning mindset, by far one of the most common questions I get asked as a coach is, how do you win? How do you get to the mountaintop? What does it take for you to get the trophy, get the accolades? And a lot of times it's more about the achievement than it is the truth about winning. In today's episode, I want to have an honest conversation about how winning is unapologetic. I came across a book recently by Tim Grover, who was the strength coach of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, some pretty big basketball names throughout his career. And his training philosophy, mindset coaching, and how he approaches his craft really resonated with me when I think about my own journey, trying to find the right words to help you as the listener understand what winning actually means and what it looks like. Now, to set some context, it would be important for you, if you haven't checked it out yet, check out the story of the BTB Project. It's my own personal journey. I'll weave some of that into today's conversation. But when I was able to read this book, even though it was released a couple years ago, it made me track to some of those moments that I faced on my own built to be journey. The journey and the results all ended up equating into a situation where I was able to accomplish everything that I ever wanted to do as a tennis player, anything that I ever wanted to accomplish as an athlete. I was able in that period of time to do things I never thought I could do, but to really do it in a way that was above and beyond extraordinary based off of the goals that I set. So, talking about some of these experiences that I had in the past, weaving it into the 13 truths about winning that Tim really drives home in his book, will leave you with a truthful understanding of not only what winning is, but how you can incorporate it in your life. Winning doesn't just happen as the end of the journey occurs. You create the result that you want and then it's over. Winning has to happen on a daily basis. But growing up, I faced a battlefield in my mind pretty often. The insecurities, the self doubt, that mental warfare was something that held me back a lot when I was a child. If I was 14 or 15 years old again, I wish I had someone like myself right now resonating this message so that I could eliminate some of the hardships that I put on myself that took the ability to win, the ability to produce the results that I wanted. It took me longer because of the mental warfare. And those distractions, it seemed to lurk around every corner that I had in my life. It wasn't just about physical strength, it was about being able to develop a mental fortitude. But Tim does a good job in his book because he states very clearly that champions understand the battle of mental fortitude all too well. They know how to silence their inner critic and push through fear and stay laser focused on their goals no matter the obstacles. He's actually asking us to invite in the hardships, to invite in the negative voices, and to put them literally around a table and have a conversation about it. This sometimes comes in the form of alter ego, which I've talked about numerous times on the podcast. And the example that he gives in the book in relation to Kobe Bryant was Kobe was assigned an alter ego that he gave himself called the Black Mamba. And the Black Mamba was actually a character that was depicted in the movie Kill Bill, that was essentially like this ninja assassin that would go around and absolutely annihilate people through this deep, dark emotion that manifested into a physical outcome. And that's how Kobe played basketball. He embraced this alter ego of Black Mamba and the mental warfare, the psychological games that he would play on himself. And he would play into this alter ego that allowed him to have some of the success that he had on the basketball court. And as you can tell with the title of my podcast, BTB Project, BTB was an acronym of a nickname that I was given growing up, Big Teddy Bear. I hated being called Big Teddy Bear. And it was through that alter ego that I said to myself, wait a second, what if I become the big teddy bear that's not the lovable little stuffed animal in the corner, but actually a embodiment of that struggle and change it into a positive connotation. That's what stemmed to the Built to Be project, BTB, an open ended question that I ask each person that I'm trying to help on and off the court. What are you built to be? What are you built to become? When you're looking to win in life, that's where it first starts. Is start with that open ended question to get alignment, to understand your why, and to begin the journey that produces results on a daily basis because of a well established why. The unapologetic nature of winning. Winning is not about being polite or playing nice. It's about going after what you want with everything you've got. And regardless of those consequences, there's no excuses, there's no comfort zones. It's just about results. The kicker, though, to winning is you have to be willing to take a risk. You have to be willing to bet on yourself when no one else will. It's about stepping up, laying down your chips on the table and saying, I'm all in. I remember making that decision when I was 14 years old. But at that point, I was overweight, struggling with insecurity and self doubt. So even though I put the chips on the table, A lot of people were looking at me like I had 10 heads because they thought there was no way that I was going to be able to accomplish my goal of playing Division 1 college tennis. But as I share my story, I want you to think about goals that you have, things that you want to do in your life. And have you put the chips down on the table? Have you taken that leap of faith? Have you at least committed to taking the first step? It's always hard when you're trying to accomplish something and win in life to take that initial step. But are you all in? Because once you're all in, it's going to take an incredible amount of resilience and emotion and sacrifice to go after your goal of winning. That moment after I put my chips down on the table, it was an exhausting process every day to get up and go and try to work and to make something happen. Every single day, I had to make a commitment to myself that no matter what was said to me, no matter what was happening in my life, that I was going to continue to make the promise and fulfill the promise of putting those chips down on the table and to satisfy my goal. And every single day, it was constantly reminding myself of why I'm doing it, why I'm here, looking at myself in the mirror, facing that person in the mirror, and developing that resiliency and fortitude to continue to keep going. Resilience is bouncing back stronger than you ever have from failure, rejection, or disappointment. For me, it was, again, facing, even at one point in my life after my tennis career, a debilitating back injury that threatened to derail my dreams of coaching full time and being able to be athletic long after my college career. I refused to give up. When I had that back injury and found out that I had a tumor in my spinal canal, I woke up from that hospital bed in some points discouraged because I'm a human being. Being able to have those voices come into my head and realize that I can overwhelm those negative thoughts and emotions by aligning my why and the positive energy that I've instilled from all those years before. I refuse to give up. And it's that emotional sacrifice. It's about keeping your emotions in check and staying focused on what you're looking to achieve, even when your heart screams to give up. That would be a really interesting thing to think about, is if there was a award shelf in my life for all the times that I wanted to give up, that would probably be hundreds and thousands of trophies collecting dust right now, because those negative thoughts, those limiting beliefs, those are real. And I know that that's something that can resonate with you that are listening and watching today. Those moments where it's tough, you got to take ownership and understand that commitment is always going to have an unbalanced feeling. This cliche of being able to have a balance in your life is just not going to happen when you're going after winning. When I actually accomplished my goal of playing Division 1 college tennis, those were some of the longest days of my life. Whether it was training in the morning, then going to class, then going to practice, and then training in the evening, and then doing rehab and PT afterwards, and then going to bed and waking up and doing it all over again, there was no balance to that. In a weird, sick, and twisted way, there was a little bit of a routine, but I didn't feel any balance. But I ended up taking ownership of that unbalanced commitment. And when you're taking ownership, that means there's no excuses. It's just results. The result that I wanted was to play Division 1 tennis at a high level. And I wanted to go out and I wanted to win the next match. And I knew when it came to my teammates or my opponents that I had to put in the work, that I had to do above and beyond what everyone else was doing, because I quite honestly didn't have the ability to have things come natural to me. I was fighting my body. I was fighting the negative thoughts in my head. And through that, I had to spend the time and be diligent on finding a way to be a step ahead of the competition by simply putting in the work. It was about prioritizing your goals above all else, even when it means sacrificing short term pleasures. There's every single distraction that you can think of in college. And those moments and those types of situations are things that are going to be very hard to overcome if you're easily immersed in those distractions. But I learned firsthand when I was on my tennis journey that it wasn't easy, but I knew that if I stayed focused on my goals, no matter what, the results would happen. I didn't want to be a good time manager when I was in college. I wanted to be a good focus manager because time is something that can get away from us. Time is something that we have, yes, 24 hours in a day. And sometimes we can't control time, but we can sure as heck control our focus and how we're focusing during that time. And even though my commitment was unbalanced to accomplish my goal, I was focused on my goal. And somehow it made the puzzle pieces fit the way that they needed to for me to win and to have the success that I had. One of the most selfless things you can do in your life when it comes to winning is self investment and this continuous pursuit of trying to improve, trying to get better. I say often on the BTB project, it's about getting 1% better each day, just 1%. And that relentless pursuit each day allows you to have a growth mindset, to not get stagnant. That's the question that I have for you. How often are you living your life where you're looking to actually just improve incrementally? Everybody expects these monumental, cataclysmic changes when you're goal setting or going after winning. But the simple truth when it comes to winning is on a particular day, you're either winning or you're losing. There's nothing in between. And if you can find a way to manifest an opportunity to get 1% better on that particular day, winning is everything. It could be what you're doing towards your goal. It could be what you're doing towards that test or exam as a student. It could be what you're doing in your career and your job that particular day, making sales calls, finishing that financial report, whatever it may be. But having that self investment and that continuous pursuit to try to be the best version of yourself is where champions become extraordinary, become legends. As you're pursuing and going after winning on a daily basis, fear and self doubt are going to creep in. But embracing solitude, drawing from your own personal experiences. I'm sharing a few of mine today, but those can be the strength and the catalyst. The dark places can be the strength of you being able to push forward. Facing fear and doubt, it's acknowledging them, but refusing to let them hold you back. It's about embracing the unknown, knowing that greatness lies on the other side of fear. Solitude in the quiet moments of self reflection, that's where champions can find clarity and strength. For me, it was facing my inner demons and discovering my true power, my true potential. Through being able to have that solitude and understanding that my darkest of dark it doesn't define me. It's a catalyst into who I'm becoming and who I am helping and what I am doing. You got to be able to be honest with the value of your time. Now, I've been struggling with this recently because here I am accomplishing the goal that I wanted to as a college tennis player, to then give back as a coach, to then becoming a family man responsible for my wife and three children, pivoting into doing whatever I can to take care of them, no matter the circumstances. The circumstances as of late have been more about doing too much rather than being smarter and more systematic with my time. I've been really honest about that with myself recently. I've been honest with others about that as well. And when it comes to winning every day, you can't fake it. You have to be willing to put in the work. Think about all the things that I just shared about what I was trying to accomplish and then reinventing yourself, trying to make a pivot or a change to do it all over again and to do it in a way that's not just for myself, but I have other people relying on me. Who do you have in your life that are relying on you? And is that something that motivates you? Is that something that helps you get out of bed in the morning? Is that something that helps you push through some of the challenges that you have? Or does it hold you back because you're thinking about not screwing it up, not making the mistake, over promising and under delivering? These are the types of psychological warfare moments I have each and every day when I'm pursuing winning. But you have to be able to put in the work day in and day out. And time will tell the most precious resource we will have. Time will tell. Time is something that, as I mentioned earlier, it's only 24 hours a day. But as you're focusing, as you have a fixed focus and you're honest about pursuing what you're focusing on, that's where champions separate themselves. They make every single moment count. They stay focused on what truly matters in their life. Tim Grover's book on winning comes with a lot of caveats. If you read the reviews online, there's a lot of people that have a hard time with some of the concepts that he shares. But me personally, when I look at what he's done as a strength coach and how he's impacted guys like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, guys like Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, he's worked with some of the greats in basketball. And I think it's really important to share the 13 truths about winning from his book so that you can weave it in to your life. And it's not for everybody. It's not for the faint of heart. It's for someone that is driven and focused and determined to not just be the talker, but to be the doer in their life. As I mentioned earlier, number one, winning is unapologetic. It's about results, no matter the cost. Winning doesn't care about excuses or your comfort zone. It demands results, plain and simple. Keep that in mind in your life. Don't make it a gray area, make it black and white. It's about the results you produce. And once those results are produced, guess what? If you want to keep winning, you got to go right back to the beginning and you got to do it again. And it's this constant cycle of winning and starting over, winning and starting over. It's easy to stop, it's easy to be complacent. But if that's not you in your life, are you willing to continue to allow winning be unapologetic, to go after it? That's the second piece. As I mentioned earlier, mental warfare. Winning requires mastering your mind. It is a constant battle against doubts, fears, and distractions. Champions diffuse these mental explosives and stay focused. That should be your favorite F word after listening to today's conversation. Are you focused? Are you determined? Sometimes you have to step away from what you're doing to regain your alignment and focus. And that's okay. But how quickly can you get back on the path? Because mental warfare will happen. But are you able to work through it and have those demons and those dark moments actually propel you forward rather than hold you back? Winning is the ultimate self gamble. Are you putting your chips on the table? It's about having the confidence to bet on yourself, even at the lowest points in your life. And it's about embracing certainty and having the courage to leap into the unknown. It's easy to live a life of complacency where you know what's happening, why it's happening, and you're constantly in this zone of comfort. discomfort is where growth truly happens. And as you put your chips on the table and you go for it, watch how that type of mindset not only leads to winning, but changes the entire trajectory of your life. And through that self gamble, you got to take ownership. It demands using your heart less, and your emotional control is critical for maintaining focus and intensity in the pursuit of victory. Don't live in the emotions. Have that conversation internally before you speak externally. Whatever thoughts or negative connotations are going on in your mind, as you work through that and align a positive value to it, it allows you to tackle those moments of where your mind and your emotion want to take over, but your focus and your winning mentality keeps it in check. And as you're living that life, remember, there's no balance in winning, there's just focus. Achieving greatness requires an unbalanced commitment. Winners prioritize their goals above all else, and they say no to the distractions. The distractions are going to come up. When you're performing at the highest level, are you looking over to see what someone's saying about you? Are you paying attention to the weather? Is it raining and cold and snow? Or are you just in the zone? Are you so invested in the focus of your mind that no matter what's thrown at you, you're able to adapt and adjust and maintain that alignment to maintain your focus on the result that you're looking to produce? You got to be a little bit selfish if you want to go after winning and success. Prioritize your personal growth over external opinions. It's about investing in oneself. I have a mentor. I have a lot of people that I've talked to throughout my life that have mentors as well. There's always people that are seeking ideas and have them speak into their life to complete this perfect, exact plan for their life and for them to go after it. And that's not typically how it works. You got to take advice from others. You got to take that feedback. But more importantly, you got to go and you got to run with it. You got to do something with it. You got to make an impact by taking action and not being paralysis by analysis and overthinking. You have to be able to have resilience through adversity. It's a continuous journey filled with challenges. Every day is going to be a challenge. It's not if, but when. But the resilience is built through facing adversity and coming back stronger every single time. That's exactly how a muscle's built. Through repetition, you tear it down to build it back up to be bigger, stronger. We can do that with our minds, we can do that with our goals. And that's what winning requires. Facing fear and doubt. Winners acknowledge their fears, but refuse to let them control their actions. They focus on control, what they can change, rather than dwelling on what could go wrong. 99% of the things that we worry about when we sit in that thought process of worry, most of them don't happen. So if we took that type of thought process and actually manifested into a positive beacon of light, how would that change the outcome? And people who are winning are constantly not only having that conversation, but they're constantly following through with being positive and finding the silver lining in their life, no matter what the situation is. As mentioned earlier, embrace solitude. Winning requires facing those inner demons, but it's also about confronting late night doubts and insecurities head on. What's your alter ego going to be? Give it a name. Kobe Bryant said Black Mamba. I'm sitting here as Big Teddy Bear. What's your alter ego? And use it to fuel you. Use it to help you push back things that you never thought you could do because you have that proverbial nudge of what the dark is and not ever wanting to spend too much time there ever again. Honesty is key when it comes to winning. It requires honesty with yourself about your strengths, weaknesses, and effort. Identify them. Figure out what's working, what's not working, problem solve on how to be more efficient and to run with it. Being able to have that type of honesty keeps you in the negative less, puts you in the positive more, makes you more efficient with your focus and to impact your life. It's a continuous pursuit, as I mentioned with winning. Tim Grover points it out perfectly. It's about always striving for improvement and setting new goals once old ones are achieved. Out with the old, in with the new. And last but not least, the value of your time. Winners recognize the urgency of their goals and make every single moment count. They know that the clock is ticking. We don't know how many days we have, we don't know how many hours we have, but we have the ability to tap into that winning mindset, having it be unapologetic, and to find a way to be 1% better each and every day. So, as we wrap up this BTB podcast, I urge you to embrace an unapologetic mindset. That's what champions do. And it's not always easy, but I'm telling you right now, it's so worth it. Are you ready to take that leap, to bet on yourself, to go after your dreams with everything you've got? I believe in you. Now go out and make it happen. Listen, if this BTB episode impacted you on the unapologetic aspects of winning, do me a favor and like and subscribe to the BTB Project. Better yet, send this message to a family member, friend, or colleague and let them know why the episode impacted you. It's this BTB community, it's coming together on this built to be mission that allow us to stay in the mindset of winning, to go after our goals and ambitions, and to just get a better by a little bit each and every day. As always, I'm proud of each and every one of you. And until next time, take care.